Welcome to Cozy Cabins History, the podcast where we journey into stories from the past, weaving together fascinating narratives with a warm, inviting touch. I'm Wren, your host, and today we're embarking on a brand new series, America's Crown Jewels, a journey through America's national parks. Imagine stepping into a landscape untouched by time, where towering mountains scrape the sky, forests stretch endlessly, and rivers carve ancient paths. These are America's national parks, not just preserved wilderness, but living histories, cultural treasures, and sanctuaries of unparalleled beauty. This 6-part series will guide you through the heart of these natural wonders, exploring their origins, significance, and the stories of the people who fought to protect them. Over the next episodes, we'll journey through 5 iconic parks: Yellowstone, Grand Canyon, Great Smoky Mountains, Yosemite, and Denali National Park. Today is our opening episode. We'll take a closer look at how the national parks came to be, from the visionaries who first dreamed of preserving these spaces to the policies that brought these dreams to life. So, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders away from your ears, and let's journey together through the beauty of America's national parks. And before we begin, make sure to follow and subscribe to Cozy Cabins History so you don't miss any of our future episodes. Our story begins in the mid-19th century. The American frontier was expanding, and with it came industry, agriculture, and development. For many, the vast wilderness was something to conquer. But amidst this drive for expansion, a handful of visionaries saw something different, something worth saving. Among them was John Muir, a naturalist who believed the wilderness held a sacred quality. His writings and advocacy inspired generations to see nature not as a resource to exploit, but as a treasure to protect. One of the first landmarks to capture the nation's imagination was Yosemite. In 1864, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Yosemite Grant, marking the first time land was set aside specifically for preservation. It was a revolutionary idea, the government actively protecting land for public enjoyment. This act planted the seeds of a movement that would grow to encompass millions of acres of protected land. Yosemite wasn't just a stunning backdrop of granite cliffs and cascading waterfalls. It became a symbol of the power of nature to inspire awe and a sense of belonging. It also set a precedent for collaboration between government and citizens, a blueprint that would be replicated in parks to come. This effort demonstrated that preservation wasn't about limited access, but about creating a space where people could connect with nature, fostering a deeper appreciation for the world around them. Enter Yellowstone. Just 8 years later, in 1872, Yellowstone became the world's first national park. Spanning parts of Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, it was a place of otherworldly geysers, lush forests, and unique wildlife. But this designation didn't come without its challenges. The land was vast and remote, and early efforts to protect it were underfunded and undermanned. Poachers and vandals threatened its integrity, leading to calls for stronger protection measures. Yet Yellowstone set a precedent. It was proof that preserving nature was not only possible, but necessary. It showed the world that America valued its natural heritage enough to create a new category of public land dedicated to preservation and enjoyment. Over time, Yellowstone's preservation inspired similar movements worldwide, laying the groundwork for a global commitment to protecting our planet's natural wonders. The role of Theodore Roosevelt. As the 20th century dawned, the conservation movement gained unstoppable momentum thanks to a president who saw protecting America's natural heritage as his life's mission. Theodore Roosevelt, often called the conservation president, was not just a policymaker. He was an outdoorsman, explorer, and true lover of the wilderness. His personal experiences in nature shaped his passionate belief that the country's wild spaces were treasures to be preserved for future generations. During his presidency, Roosevelt set aside over 230 million acres of public land, including 5 national parks, 18 national monuments, 55 wildlife refuges, and 150 national forests. This unprecedented commitment to conservation transformed the landscape of American environmental policies. Under Roosevelt's leadership, the Antiquities Act of 1906 was passed, granting presidents the authority to designate national monuments. This law became a cornerstone of conservation, allowing for quick action to protect vulnerable lands and cultural sites. One of Roosevelt's most iconic moments came during a camping trip in Yosemite with John Muir in 1903. The two spent days exploring the park, marveling at its beauty and discussing the importance of preserving such spaces. Muir's deep reverence for nature deeply resonated with Roosevelt, strengthening the president's resolve to expand protections for America's wildlands. This trip wasn't just a symbolic gesture. It resulted in tangible actions that safeguarded Yosemite and inspired similar efforts across the nations. Roosevelt's passion for conservation extended beyond policy. He saw nature as essential to the American spirit, a place where citizens could reconnect with their heritage and find renewal. He believed that wilderness experiences cultivated strength, resilience, and an appreciation for life's simpler joys. This philosophy was reflected in his speeches, writings, and tireless advocacy for the preservation of America's great outdoors. Roosevelt also understood the importance of public support for these initiatives. He championed education about the parks, encouraging people to visit and immerse themselves in the beauty of the natural world. Through his efforts, conservation became a national priority and an enduring part of the American identity. His vision laid the groundwork for the modern national park system, proving that one leader's passion could inspire a movement that would benefit countless generations. Despite these early efforts, managing the growing number of parks and monuments proved challenging. In 1916, the National Park Service was established, tasked with protecting these lands while ensuring they remained accessible to the public. Their motto? To conserve the scenery and the natural and historic objects and the wildlife therein, and to provide for the enjoyment of the same in such manner and by such means as will leave them unimpaired for the enjoyment of future generations. The creation of the Park Service marked a turning point. No longer would these lands rely on scattered and underfunded efforts. They now had an organized system dedicated to their care. Figures like Stephen Mather, the first director of the National Park Service, played a crucial role in shaping its mission and garnering public support. Mather's tireless advocacy helped bridge the gap between government policy and public enthusiasm, solidifying the idea that national parks were a shared responsibility. A shared heritage. Today, the national park system spans over 400 sites, including parks, monuments, battlefields, and historic sites. These spaces are a testament to what can be achieved when people come together to protect something larger than themselves. They're not just lands set aside for beauty's sake. They're reflections of our shared history, triumphs, and even our struggles. The parks have also become symbols of resilience, from the towering sequoias of California to the vibrant coral reefs of the Florida Keys. Each park tells a story of survival, of ecosystems adapting to change, and people finding ways to preserve these natural treasures in the face of adversity. They remind us that preservation is not a one-time effort, but an ongoing commitment. As we reflect on the creation of these parks, it's worth noting the role they've played in shaping American identity. Writers, artists, and photographers have long drawn inspiration from these landscapes, capturing their majesty and sharing it with the world. Ansel Adams, for instance, used his photography to highlight the beauty of Yosemite and advocate for its protection. His work continues to inspire people to visit and appreciate these remarkable places. The parks have also been the backdrop for countless personal stories. Families have made lifelong memories hiking the trails of Glacier National Park, while others have found solace in the quiet deserts of Joshua Tree. These spaces remind us of our connection to the natural world and to one another. They're where we celebrate milestones, find healing, and come to understand the importance of preserving something greater than ourselves. I myself have had the joy of visiting Yellowstone National Park. Though I was young, it left quite the impression. From seeing the geysers to getting up close and personal with some wildlife, it was a memory that I will cherish for the rest of my life, and something that I hope to one day pass down to future generations as well. As we close today's episode, I invite you to imagine the places we'll explore in the coming weeks. From the geothermal wonders of Yellowstone to the breathtaking cliffs of the Grand Canyon, from the misty vistas of the Great Smoky Mountains to the iconic granite peaks of Yosemite, and finally to the rugged wilderness of Denali. Each part has a unique story to tell. Together, we'll uncover the histories, mysteries, and natural wonders that make these places truly special. Thank you for joining me on this journey through America's crown jewels. I look forward to taking this trip with you, friend. And if you enjoy this story, share it with someone who could use a little escape into history. And don't forget to hit the follow button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, stay curious and cozy. I'll see you in the cabin soon.